Hey there, and welcome to HisTime365. I'm so glad you're here for day 61 of our 365-day journey through the Bible. Today we'll look at Joshua 9 through 12, and I'll walk you through what happens, what it means, and why it matters. I'll share a summary and some insights to help you see the big picture and connect with the heart of the scripture. During your quiet time, I encourage you to read today's lesson in a Bible translation that speaks to you best. Now grab a quiet moment, take a deep breath, and let's spend a few minutes giving God his time. The wisdom and warfare of Joshua. Insights from chapters 9 through 12. Imagine standing at a crossroads, facing decisions that could change the course of your life forever. In Joshua chapters 9 through 12, we find the Israelites grappling with choices that test their faith and trust in God, all while embarking on a journey that leads to victory and wisdom. As we dive into these chapters, we first meet the Gibeonites, a clever group of people living in the land that God promised to the Israelites. Rather than facing the Israelites in battle, the Gibeonites devised a plan to deceive them. They dressed in worn-out clothes, carried stale bread, and claimed to be from a distant land. Their goal: to convince the Israelites to make a peace treaty. When the leaders of Israel heard their story, they didn't consult God before making a decision. The Israelites, swayed by appearances, ended up signing a covenant with the Gibeonites. Joshua 9:15-16. This scenario teaches us a vital lesson about the importance of seeking divine guidance in our decisions. In our daily lives, whether at work or home, how often do we rush into agreements without weighing the consequences? For example, consider a work contract that seems beneficial on the surface but could lead to complications later. Or think about a family decision that sounds good but might not align with your values. Just like the Israelites, we might find ourselves in tricky situations if we neglect to ask God for wisdom. As we move to chapter 10, we witness a dramatic twist. The Gibeonites, now allies of Israel, found themselves under attack from their neighboring kings who were angered by the treaty. They called for help from Joshua, and without hesitation, he led his men to defend them. God intervened in a remarkable way. He caused the sun to stand still, allowing the Israelites to defeat their enemies. Joshua 10:12-13. Imagine the awe and excitement of those warriors fighting with the assurance that God was backing them up. Think of a time when you stepped in to help a friend or a family member. Maybe you offered support during a tough time, and that made all the difference. Just like Joshua, we can be instruments of help and grace. When we act selflessly, we can trust that God will be with us in those moments, providing strength and guidance. In chapter 11, we see Joshua continuing his campaign against the remaining kings of Canaan. God reassures him, instructing him not to be afraid, for he has delivered these enemies into their hands. Joshua 11:6. Joshua's obedience and faithfulness lead to a decisive victory over various kings and cities. The Israelites took the land as God had promised, fulfilling his covenant with them. What can we learn from Joshua's victories? In our lives, we all face challenges that may seem insurmountable, whether in our jobs, relationships, or personal battles. When we lean on God's promises and trust Him, we can find the courage to confront those challenges head-on. For example, a single parent might feel overwhelmed by daily responsibilities, but seeking God's help can provide peace and strength to navigate those challenges. Or consider someone facing financial difficulties. Turning to prayer and wise counsel can open doors and lead to breakthroughs. Finally, in chapter 12, we get an overview of the kings defeated by the Israelites. This section serves as a summary of God's faithfulness and a testament to His power. The victories achieved were not just for the Israelites, they were a direct result of God's intervention and guidance. Each battle fought was a step closer to establishing the promised land for his people. Reflecting on this, it's essential to remember that our journey is not just about the victories. It's about recognizing who helps us achieve them. In every triumph, big or small, let's acknowledge God's hand in our accomplishments. Just like Joshua and the Israelites remembered their battles, we should also celebrate our wins and give thanks for the guidance we receive along the way. In conclusion, Joshua 9 through 12 teaches us profound lessons about seeking wisdom, standing up for others, and trusting God through challenges. Through clever schemes and divine interventions, we see God's faithfulness in every step of the Israelites' journey. Trust in God's guidance in every decision, and He will lead you to victory. How do you see God's guidance in your daily decisions? Can you recall a time when you stood up for someone in need? What did you learn from that experience? In what areas of your life do you feel challenged to trust God more? How can we celebrate our victories while acknowledging God's role in them?
Thanks so much for joining me today for HisTime365. Remember, today's reading is Joshua 9 through 12, so be sure to spend some time with those verses during your quiet time. Tomorrow, we'll be diving into Joshua 13 through 15, so feel free to read ahead if you'd like to prepare. If you enjoyed this time together, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so that you never miss a day on this journey. I'll see you back right here tomorrow for day 62. Until then, stay encouraged, and thank you for giving God His time.